Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Monday, the 24th of November 2023. We'll be breaking down chart to ensure the exact zones where price will close for potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the previous weekly candle, the weekly closed strong bullish, forming strong weekly support around 1937-200. Now earlier in the week, my anticipation was to see a break below this previous weekly low and then a continuation to the downside to have this correction. And then obviously we've had the daily candles retracing. We've had a daily candle closing bullish above this daily resistance. So then the thing I was visualizing at the time, halfway through the week, is to see a weekly, weekly candle closing bullish, week bullish, forming a rejection to the upside, and then potentially have the following weekly candle breaking below this weekly support and then continue bearish. And when we have clean traffic on the left on the weekly time frame, basically to correct the whole bullish move we've had from last month. But as we can see, that's all changed because the weekly closed strong bullish. Now, personally, I think the potential continuation to the downside could still be valid because this could be maybe a retracement for price to retest this weekly resistance, respect the weekly resistance on the left, form another resistance maybe on a daily, and then break the low and continue bearish. Now, obviously, this is just an anticipation. And on the monthly, obviously, the monthly candle, and this is something that we've mentioned previously, for price to break and trade within this monthly rejection zone, something fundamentally has to change. So we might see just price retesting this weekly resistance before the continuation to the downside. The other thing we can say also is, and the reason why I'm saying I still can see price correcting this weekly candle on the left is because when you look on the daily time frame, the daily candle on Friday closed weak bearish with the small rejection to the upside, but price is still respecting this daily resistance on the left. So this could be still valid for potential sells. So now to break down the chart and drop it down to the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see here is we have, let's say, a recent 4-hour support, weak 4-hour support around 1980-400. The most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 1988-800. Drop it down to the hourly time frame, and now we have a new hourly range. So what we can see is we have a same level of support, a new level of resistance around 180. That's 1983 800. Drop it down to the 5-minute time frame. That's the same level of resistance. The level of support to be adjusted to 1979 400. Drop it down to the 15-minute time frame. The same level of support, a level of resistance to be adjusted to 1984 200. So now to identify the no trade zone, and I would say, based on how the daily is forming, looking at the 4-hour time frame, I'd say potentially what we do is maybe look for potential buys above 1984 200, so above this 30-minute resistance, and potential sells could be below. Let's have a look on 5-minute time frame. I would say ideally is to see price break below this 4-hour low, meaning price break out of this range. So potential sells could be below 1978 600, and this is going to be the no trade zone. We're just going to identify this as a no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys, and going back to the daily. So actually the weekly, the first thing we can anticipate here is the new weekly candle potentially retesting this weekly resistance around 2075 700. Drop it down to the weekly, the daily. We have a daily resistance formed around 1992 800. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. We have a 4-hour recent resistance around 1989. Drop it down to the hourly time frame. And now this is a range, probably on low time frame, as we can see. Yes, that's a range. Let's have a look on a 50-minute time frame. I would say the first target for buys could potentially be 1989 or even 1990 200, targeting this 30-minute resistance. The second target for buys, now let's have a look again. So what we can see, we have this weekly high around 1993 400. Drop it down to the daily, a daily rejection from Friday. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. We have a 4-hour resistance on the left. Looking at the hourly time frame, let's have a look on the left. What do we see? What we can see here is we have this decent hourly resistance around 1995-100. So I would say the second target for buyers could potentially be a 1995-100, targeting this hourly resistance. And now to look for potential sells. And going back to the daily and recent price action. The first thing we can see here is we have clean daily candle on the left. That was from the Thursday daily candle last week. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame, and the first thing we can identify is this strong 4-hour candle closing bullish. We have this previous 4-hour resistance around 1973. Drop it down to the hourly time frame and zooming in. That matches with the hourly resistance. And then we have this 30-minute support around 1971. Looking at the 50-minute time frame, we have this previous 50-minute resistance around 1973-500. I would say the first target for sales could potentially be 1973-500, targeting this previous 4-hour resistance. The second target for sales, looking at the daily, still the daily clean range, but then we have this rejection on the daily. I mean, we have still clean traffic on the 4-hour time frame. We have this 4-hour support around 1965. Drop it down to the hourly time frame. We have this previous 1-hour resistance around 1967-400. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, clean traffic apart from this range on the left. So I would say the second target for sales could potentially be 1967-400, targeting this previous 4-hour resistance formed on the 16th of November 2023.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.